The rhythms of life. When people get started in a new endeavor, they almost always overdo it. Of course, I want you to feel excited about setting up a rhythm for success, but you need to find a program that you can absolutely positively do in the long term without renegotiation. I don't want you thinking of the rhythms you can do for this week, month, or even the next 90 days. I want you to think about what you can do for the rest of your life. The compound effect, the positive results you want to experience in your life, will be the result of smart choices and actions repeated consistently over time. You win when you take the right steps day in and day out, but you set yourself up for failure by doing too much too soon. A friend who will remain unnamed to protect the guilty decided he was going to get in shape after seeing a picture of himself posted on social media. This was a massive lifestyle shift for him. On the job, he sits for at least a dozen hours a day, and he hates to exercise. Previously, he explained that he would finally find ways to avoiding using certain dishes or accessing files if it required him to squat and bend down to get them. That's how much of an aversion he had to physical activity. Still, he made a resolution to get in shape. He joined a gym, hired a personal trainer, and began working out 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Richard, let's call him. I said, "That's a mistake. You will not be able to maintain that commitment and will eventually stop doing it. You're setting yourself up for failure." He pushed back, assuring me that he changed forever. Even his trainer had recommended the intense push. "I'm committed," he said. "I want to be able to see my abs." "Richard, what's your real goal?" I asked him. I knew he wasn't gunning to be on the cover of Men's Fitness. "I want to be trim. I want to be healthy," he told me. "Why?" I asked. "I want vitality. I want to be here long enough to see my kids have kids," he replied. These were his real, meaningful motivations. Richard wanted to be in the in it for long haul. That meant he was signing on not for bikini season, but a long-term commitment to fitness. "Okay," I said. "You've convinced me, but you're overdoing it. You're going to get 2 or 3 months down the road, and you're going to say, 'I don't have 2 hours to work out, so I guess I can do it today.' That's going to happen to you over and over again. Working out 5 days a week will turn into 2 or 3, and you'll get discouraged soon. It will be over. I know you're really fired up right now, so let's do it. Do your 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. For now, takes a lot of steam to get the wheels to budge from the inertial, but don't do it longer than 60 or 90 days. Then I want you to scale it down to an hour or an hour and 15. You can still do your 5 days a week, but I would probably encourage you to go for. Do that another 60 to 90 days. Then I want you to consider an hour a day for a minimum of 3 days a week. 4 if you're feeling extra spry. That's the program I want you to work toward, because if you don't get into something you can maintain, you won't do it at all. I really had to struggle to get Richard to comprehend this, because at that moment he was all gung-ho. He thought he was going to be able to stick with his new routine for a lifetime. For someone who never worked out, to start working out 2 hours a day, 5 days a week is a surefire dead end. You have to build a program that you can do for 50 years, not 5 weeks or 5 months. It's okay if you go strong for a while, but you've got to see light at the end of the tunnel where you can start scaling it back. You can always find 45 minutes to an hour a few times a week, but to find 2 hours 5 days a week to make your routine work, that's never happen. Remember, consistency is a critical component of success. The power of consistency. I've mentioned that if there's one discipline that gives me a competitive advantage, it's my ability to be consistent. Nothing kills Big Mo quicker than with more certainty than a lack of consistency. Even good, passionate, and ambitious people with good intentions can fall short when it comes to consistency. But it's a powerful tool you can use to launch the flight toward your goals. Think of it like this. If you and I flew planes from Los Angeles to Manhattan, but you look off and landed in every state in between, while I flew straight through. Even if you went 500 miles per hour in the air, and I only traveled at a rate of 200 miles per hour, I'd still beat you by a big margin. The time and energy it takes for you to repeatedly stop and start and get back to momentum would make your trip at least 10 times as long. In fact, more than likely you wouldn't even make it. You'd run out of fuel, energy, motivation, belief, will. At some point, it's far easier and requires a lot less energy to take off once and maintain a regular speed, even if slower than most everyone else, all along the way. The pump well. When you start thinking about slacking off on your routines and rhythms, consider the massive cost of inconsistency. It is not the loss of a single or of the single action and tiny results it creates. It is the utter collapse and the loss of momentum. Your entire progress will suffer. Think of a hand-pumped water well, which uses a pipe to draw water up from the water table several feet underground. To get the water to the surface, you have to pump the well's lever to create the suction that brings the water above the ground and out of the spout. When most people start a new endeavor, they grab the lever and start pumping really hard, just as Richard was with his plan to get fit. They're excited and committed. They pump and pump and pump, but after a few minutes or few weeks, when they don't see any water results, they give up pumping and lever altogether. They don't realize how long it takes to create the vacuum needed to suck the water into the pipe and eventually out of the spout and into their bucket. Just like the merry-go-round. Just like the merry-go-round, rocket ship or steam engine breaking free of inertia. It takes time, massive energy, and consistency to pump water. Most people give up, but wise people continue to pump.